Hey everybody, surprise, pop-up Thursday. This is John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and CEO of Operation Hope, America's first nonprofit financial services network for the poor, the struggling class, the teetering class, the middle class, those with too much month at the end of their money. I'm also the CEO of Bryant Group Ventures. My office did some research today and showed that I'm actually now standing up, running, and founding 35 organizations and entities here, mostly in North America and around the world, and author of 3 books, soon 4. And most importantly, Operation Hope, which is what I'm here to talk to you about today. Hey, everybody, signing on. This is what I'm building, the Hope Inside, the new movement of civil rights, and the Freedman's Bank. I've got my man Cash here, who's got his own business here, who's driving me. I'm not driving. Both hands. I'm not driving. That is Cash in this very cool car. You see that in the background there? That's a S5. What's this thing called?
S550.
S550 Mercedes, not Mercedes Payments. Mercedes. It's not my car, by the way, or is it Hope's? It's his car. And that's Janae Roscoe, my government relations chief. Say hello, Janae. Janae is brilliant. She's a genius, and she's the one who's with me when we did this first video. It's got over 3 million views in this car. Hey, Yolanda, surprise. Hey, Yolanda. Nicole Moten Rice, hello. Michael Johnson, love your positivity. Thank you, Michael. Hello to you. I'm stuck in traffic, so I'm really positive right now. We're stuck in traffic. We're loving the traffic. We're loving all the lights from the stop lights from the cars. It looks like Christmas. Okay, conversation's building. Hey, Zena Knox. Tell our friend, the restaurateur, that I love him in New York. And thanks for all you do, Zena. Hey, Cash, do you have cash? One of the people said. Henry Gomez, you're riding in style. Yeah, exactly. Best part is not my car. Hey, Sally Ward, Arto Smith, Lester Gardner, who used to work for me, good guy. Desmond Wiggins Jr. Okay. Mr. Khalif Harris. Okay, let me jump into this. We're stuck in traffic. I'm using this as an opportunity to talk to y'all on my way home. I'm on my way to dinner for the financial services roundtable. I have about 8 minutes as we break through traffic here in Washington, D.C. Let me get into this. You have inspired a generation, Andre. Thank you for that. Mark Baxter, that's a bad brother. Mark Baxter is part of the future. So what am I building? I'm building the next iteration of the Freedman's Bank. The Freedman's Bank building, which is about 2 blocks, I guess that's west, this way? 2 blocks west of where we are. We're the only organization ever in U.S. history to rename a federal building on the White House campus. You're looking at the only American citizen. We're the only organization ever to cause a building on the White House campus ever to be renamed. And that is the Treasury Annex building that, if you Google on your phone, is now the Freedman's Bank building. Don't trust me. Check it out on your phone. What was once the Treasury Annex building for over 100 years is now the Freedman's Bank building, because we petitioned Secretary of the Treasury Jack Lew and the President Obama to rename the building, and they did it last January. And you can go visit the building. It is in honor of former slaves who put every dime they had, $52 million, 72,000 depositors, to stand up a bank chartered by Abraham Lincoln to, quote, teach free slaves about money, end quote. Frederick Douglass went to go run that bank in 1870. Lincoln was killed in 1865. Frederick Douglass went to run that bank in 1870, put $10,000 of his own money in that bank because he thought it was so important. That's $20 million, give or take, today. So we're talking about not a broke man, Frederick Douglass. You know him as an abolitionist. I know him as a businessman who owned real estate in Baltimore, Maryland, and real estate in Anacostia, a bad brother. And it was said when the Freedman's Bank failed, the failure of this bank did more to set free slaves in America back to 10 more years of slavery. Hey, Robert Stanley, A.R. Harris Logistics. Put your name down there, A.R. Harris Logistics. You're a bad brother. I want to be able to give you some love by name, not the name of your company, of you. This is a trucker who's created his own business, A.R. Harris Logistics, and he's training other truckers. He's got a bad, beautiful red truck I've seen, and he owns his own deal, writes his own ticket, creates his own schedule around the world, around the country, and is an entrepreneur. Well, he's a small business owner. I'm going to give him some love. The Freedman's Bank's mission was stopped in around 1870 in its tracks. The bank was finally closed, and the mission failed. The history was lost until we picked that history up and decided to tell this story, made it a national building. We're going to now go to the Chamber of Commerce, the Tourism and Visitors Bureau here in, Alvin Clayton Fernandez is my brother, Zena. So Janae, once you get in touch with the DC Tourism Bureau, we want to make sure this is in our history books so that our history is not lost. But being a PhD is not enough. We want to be a PhD too. Don't hit Cash's car, you can't pay for it. We want to be not just a PhD, but a PhD too. So that's what we launched. And then, by the way, I have to give Dr. King some credit here, because 100 years after Lincoln was assassinated, here comes Dr. King and my mentor Andrew Young with the Poor People's Campaign, which was Dr. King's last movement, and he was assassinated, Dr. King, 100 years after Lincoln, the same month, April, which oddly enough is now Financial Literacy Month. Crazy, but Dr. King said this: you cannot legislate goodness, cannot pass a law to force someone to respect you. The only way to social justice in a capitalist country is economics and ownership. That was King in '68. Dr. King was killed that same month in '68, and so we're picking up that mantle with the Hope Inside network, and the Hope Inside network will be in bank branches, grocery stores, big box retailers, houses of faith, government offices, where people flock, stop, and shop. We're opening these locations every week. We have a couple here in Washington, D.C. at SunTrust Banks. We're in BB&T, Regions Banks. We're going into a black bank in New Jersey, City National Bank. We're in Whole Foods. We're in Hyatt hotels, where a lot of our folks work. We're in Atlanta Police Department. We are in the Detroit Medical Center in Detroit. We're negotiating with some major employers about bringing Hope Inside into their locations. And I think, by the way, when I dropped the camera, I somehow turned off the notes. So my apologies, you guys, for that. But I'll catch the notes after. Oh, there you go. I'll catch the notes after I finish during the broadcast, and when I'm at dinner, I'll respond to some of the comments. So we're going to finish what Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass began. We're going to open Hope Insides across this country to move credit scores to 700, because nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points. And we believe that we can set you free through financial literacy and self-help and self-reliance. We think that the new definition of freedom is self-determination. As you saw, Hope File, one of my Hope counselors just signed on. I'm just looking at some of the comments as I'm commenting. Hey Archie, what's up? This civil rights movement is real. It's building, community by community, school by school, with our school-based financial literacy work. I'll do a What I'm Building piece on that later. But look up Project 5117, people. Project 5117 is our movement in the suites, not just the streets. It's about class and poverty, and not just race and the color line. It's Project 5117 is to make smart. It's 5 million kids to make smart cool, so kids want to stay in school. It's 1 million kids, of those kids who go through Hope Business in a Box Academy and become entrepreneurs. We're funding those businesses up to $500. We're also going to have part of those kids going through Internship America, because I think if we can give every kid a job right out of high school, they'll stop dropping out of high school. What do you think? We think if kids had a shot out of high school to get a job, they'd stop dropping out of high school. They would stay in, because it's all about aspiration, tying education with aspiration. And then we're going to have 1,000 Hope Inside locations that connect to 700 credit score communities, because every community that has a problem that we love is a 500 credit score neighborhood. And that's where you see a check casher next to a payday loan lender, next to a rent-to-own store, next to a title lender, next to a liquor store. And they are feeding on poverty. They're robbing you in broad daylight. What did Malcolm X said? You've been bamboozled, you've been tricked, you've been fooled. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, so I'm not gonna get mad at these folks. I'm gonna take their customers in broad daylight by giving them financial literacy and their history and civil rights, which is what you and I are talking about on these broadcasts, and what I'm hopeful that you will talk about with your friends and your colleagues and your family members. We need to start having Sally says we need more of this in St. Louis, Missouri. I agree. By the way, Sally, there's a Hope Inside at with my friend Tashara Jones, the city treasurer. We have a Hope Inside of the St. Louis City Hall, and we have another Hope Inside right outside of Ferguson, Missouri. Hope Inside Regions Bank in Jefferson County, I think it is, but right outside of Ferguson. You can look us up there. Zena, Mr. Bryant, I refer to you as a new age liberator. Thank you for all that you do. Oh, thank you very much. It's very heartwarming for you to say. Let me see here. Miguel says, thanks for all the mentoring. Yep, this is how I mentor, e-mentoring. Thank you, Miguel. Sorry I dropped the camera, by the way, folks. At least you guys know that this is authentic. I was trying to be cool. I didn't want to take the camera out of the Louis Vuitton case. So that's what I get for dropping the whole thing. I was trying to be bougie. So, I'm not trying to mess up my case, is what I'm trying to do. So, love your inspiration for the human race, Lisa Shore. Thank you very much, Lisa. So, civil rights is real. Civil rights is, and I didn't say civil rights, I said silver rights, is about class and poverty and not just race and the color line. It's a movement in the suites, not just the streets. That's why I need for all of you to tell your friends to join this movement. Sign up at Operation Hope. Become a Hope Corps member at Operation Hope. Doesn't cost you a dime. Become a $25 member at Operation Hope. Everybody can afford $25. That's $2 per month. It's less than $2 per month, and everybody can afford to do that. You spend more than that at a cup of coffee at Starbucks or that club that didn't give you nothing last Saturday night but heartburn and a bunch of folks lying to your face about how they're supposedly why they love you so much. So join this movement. It's at least real and authentic. We're not going to lie to you. You can also use the services. All our services are free. OperationHope.org. We're an honest broker coming to you nationwide and also in South Africa, in Morocco, in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE. We're moving and expanding around the world through Global Dignity. We're in 79 countries. You can go to globaldignity.org for that. How can the bank help my dealership? That's Amato Thomas. We're not a bank, Amato. We're not literally a bank. We're a financial literacy empowerment organization that works with banks. We can help your people get qualified. People coming to you to try to buy a car and their credit is 500, you're forced to give them some radically horrible 18-20% auto loan, which explodes on them. If we can work with them and get their credit score up to 80 to 90, 100 points, get them to 600 credit score, 650 credit score, you can then give them a very competitive rate, and then people won't be hating on your dealership. They'll be loving you and talking good things about you. So that's how we can help you with your dealership, and the services are free. Go to the Hope Inside Network at Facebook, find the location near you. Go to Operation Hope, find the location near you. And you see some testimonials from some of the people who've got our services on my Facebook page. Tell people to sign up to this page. 23 million people have viewed it. 200,000 people plus have now followed it. Dude, you are the bomb. Thank you. That's Sidoff, the righteous. But how are you moving in that metal and reading word for word at the same time? We need you in one piece. I'm not driving, man. These are my hands. I'm not driving. That dude's driving. Okay? There's a steering wheel. I'm not driving. You guys don't trust me. I keep saying this. I'm not driving. All right. I'm at the Mandarin Oriental for my event. So there's a bunch of bankers here. I'm going to go see them. Now, you don't always have to be out front in these deals. I was actually encouraged not to be here earlier when Operation Hope was talked about by a couple CEOs so they could talk amongst themselves. And so every movement's not loud, not marching, not getting in people's faces, not screaming and hollering and cursing at people. That movement was in the streets, and there's a place and time for that. But this movement's in the suites. It's about solving your problem from the neck up, not from the shoulders down. It's not about bombing people and beating people up with bricks. It's about hitting people with your American Express black card and knocking them out, and being intelligent and thoughtful about how you take your life back. So I had to listen to counsel that it was actually not good for me to be at this meeting, not because of racism or anybody didn't like black people, even though I'm the only black man ever to win the Innovator of the Year award from American Banker in banking history. I had to decide not to take that personal. They just want to be able to talk amongst themselves without me being in the room, without having to be pleasant to me. And I think I get more out of them talking to themselves about my model and then having me come into the reception and the dinner and then close some deals. So sometimes you have to sneak up on success. It's good to be underestimated. It's good to let people find their own comfort zone about how they're going to deal with you. And I tell people all the time, I don't want nobody that don't want me. Okay? It's okay if you don't like me. I like me. And I'd rather you respect me and learn to like me than like me and never respect me. And you should too in your own life. You guys like that? Okay, good. So the Hope Inside Network is real. We're going to be coming in 1,000 locations by 2020. We have orders for 425 locations now. We had 11 locations in the year 2013. But we've just exploded with growth thanks to your support. If you want to find a location near you, put your address down or your city down in the comments, and I'll get somebody on linking you with a location. But you got to have a different strategy for different places and times and how you're going to do business, how you're going to move in this space. And my strategy here is not to go be loud and profile early today, but to sneak up on them after a bunch of CEOs have given me love and said John's a good guy and vouched for me, and now I can just show up in the cut, have a nice free dinner, and close some deals smoothly. We got to make smart sexy, folks. We've been making dumb sexy for too long. We've dumbed down and celebrated it, and now it's time to make smart sexy again. That means you and me. Love you much. Love you enough to talk to you straight. This is the Civil Rights Movement. John Hope Bryant. I'm out.